The University of Detroit Mercy presents another brand new episode of Ask the Professor, the radio show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. Today's program was recorded using Zoom video conferencing technology.
The University Tower chimes ring in another session of Ask the Professor, the show in which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Mayo, and let me introduce you to our panel for today. It's Dan Maggio. He'll need to unmute.
My God, the one day I'm
with
eating.
his mouth full.
Dan.
Yeah, that's it, Heather. Clog up some time while he swallows.
I'm always last. I figured
That's
I'm
exactly
safe.
what I'm doing.
So good afternoon, Matt. Glad to be here.
Good afternoon, Dan. I hope what you are noshing on is delicious.
It is peanut butter bark leftover
Ooh.
from Christmas. It is delicious.
That is wonderful.
I'm on a mission to get rid of all the Christmas food that's left in the kitchen.
Sure. I completely understand that. We were in the same boat last night at dinner, just kind of cleaning out the fridge, doing leftovers. And instead of something sweet, it was some sort of smoked Gouda. And I'm not usually the biggest Gouda fan, but it was pretty solid. It was from Cantoro, Dan, from Cantoro.
Well, okay.
You know it's good.
Yeah.
Almost, yes.
Jim Tubbs is here with us today.
You just made me hungry. I love smoked Gouda.
Oh, it was super smooth, super smoky, Jim. It was delicious.
Ugh.
Jim, what's this lecture that you're going to be going to? Who's the speaker?
Well, it's really about Muslim comics, actually, comedians. And it's sponsored by our Islamic Studies program and the Department of Religious Studies.
Oh, very cool.
And women's and gender studies.
And women's and gender studies too, yeah.
Okay, very cool.
I think they're going to be looking at Aziz Ansari as a kind of a model or target of the talk.
Nice. Mara Livesey is here with us today. What's going on, Mara?
Not much, trying to clean the fridge of all the wedding leftovers.
Oh.
And there are many. The freezers are full.
I think that I saw a picture on your Instagram of some pretty ripping, what was it, chicken noodle soup? What was it? What was made originally that became the soup?
Yeah, so we had a bunch of leftover baked chicken and a bunch of leftover mixed veggies. So
combine them.
Yeah, well, all afternoon, since I'm working from home, right, I just got the veggies boiling with some water and some chicken bones to make some nice broth for the base. Then you just shred in the chicken, cut up some carrots, garlic, onions, and then put some homemade pasta in. It was fantastic.
Awesome.
Yummy.
Absolutely awesome. That makes me get really, really hungry, considering it's sub-zero outside and soup warms the soul.
So you can expect us all for dinner tonight, Mara.
Come with your negative tests.
I have 4 tests on the way, courtesy of the post office. Way to go,
Yeah.
President Biden.
Yes, that's right. Excellent. Those, of course, are the dulcet test talking tones of Beth Oljar.
Good to be here.
They're the good ones too, Beth. If it's the Binax that we keep hearing about, we actually have a surplus of them at my house because my 2 younger children had to get tested constantly to be in their summer camp last year. Only the constant testing was really just a threat. I think it happened during the first week and then it disappeared. So we were left with hundreds of dollars of tests that we had to purchase before. And my wife's like, let's just hold on to these. I'm glad she did. We've needed them.
Well, and now I know how to get the N95 masks that are actually approved by the FDA.
Absolutely.
I know about the N95 project website where you can go to get the ones that are, well, they'll give you the names, right? But you can also buy directly from the site, I think. So very good.
Absolutely. Things are getting better. Somehow they're going to get better. Stephen Manning is here with us today.
Good afternoon.
Did you sign up for your test, Stephen?
What test?
Did you sign up to get your free tests from Uncle Sam or Uncle Joe, depending on your perspective?
Yes, they're on their way.
Excellent. Excellent. Should be coming soon. Should be a tax write-off, right?
Well, based on the post office performance of late, not quite sure. We're having problems with Amazon on our street too. They're delivering packages to different houses.
To the wrong houses.
So we become extremely dependent upon our neighbors being neighborly, and some are, and some aren't. So neighborly.
Oh my!
So we're having the same issue.
We went to one place and, this is yours. I was gonna walk it down. You've had it for like a week.
Good Lord.
This was medicine for the dog. The other one, we actually had to call our Detroit Police Department community relations guy, because we had, Amazon gives you a picture.
Right.
Delivered your thing.
It wasn't your porch.
How was the delivery? Wasn't our porch. And we knew whose porch it was because we were out walking the dog a lot, and we had the picture on the camera, and we found out where it was and had evidence that this had been tucked inside a neighbor's door.
Oh my gosh.
Never returned to us.
Law and Order Package Delivery Unit. That's all I've got to say.
They're saying people are nastier these days with COVID.
No, it's true.
Before, but, there's more road rage and things like that.
No, it's true.
Less civil.
I hope that Heather Hill is thinking about this before she orders her seeds and bulbs and other things that you're going to do. We don't want them to end up in enemy hands.
Yeah. I'm not ordering them through Amazon, that's for sure.
That's for dang sure, right there.
Dang sure. Yeah.
Do you just get the catalogs and kind of flip through them and say that would be nice? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, but I have lists upon arrows and this and that, but I have to be very careful because sometimes I get a little,
a little
over the top, and so I'm
never.
This
Heather,
year, I'm trying to scale it down.
Heather, that's part of your charm. You have to go over the top with your bulbs. I mean, come on. We expect no less.
She's like Olmsted with her planning thing.
I think, frankly, that we all deserve a little pandemic positive. So if you want to go nuts with your seeds, I say do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Then I will feel better.
I feel I've been blessed. My endeavors have been blessed.
Stop it. I'll just feel better about spending $500 on Halloween decorations in February. Our last guest is Dave Chow.
Pleasure to be here.
Anywhere that much.
I know.
Hey, Heather, is it any nuttier than me buying every Medicine Hat Tiger piece of swag I can get my hands on?
That's true. There's not that much though, Dave. You got to get it.
I know. It's only I get like 2 sweatshirts a year, but remember a couple of weeks ago we were joking that they have my sizes on hand. Whatever they produce, they already know they've got 3 sales and they're all mine.
I think it's cool.
There's a new book out that's actually a cold case investigation of the betrayal of Anne Frank, and I'll read anything like that. I can get anything about her actually that I can get my hands on. So
yeah, that's right.
Seeds
we all go over the top. Yeah, I mean, seeds
are better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not to put a downer on this, but I had gotten my dad a gift card to a particular seed catalog that he liked, and he never used it. And so my mom
sacrilege.
Yeah, because he passed. I'm sorry, never mind. But I'm ordering all of my seeds.
Yes,
that gift card.
Yes,
that's
cool.
nice.
Good. That's good. A memorial garden.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
Really, that's actually really lovely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Go over the top.
I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, this is a program. You can send us questions regarding anything. If you stump the panel, you win a prize. If you don't stump the panel, you win a prize. You can send us the questions in a number of ways. You can email us at atp@udmercy.edu. Find us on Facebook or Instagram, or listen on your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. These questions were sent in by longtime question sender inner Kimberly Richards of Van Nuys, California. And they're all about prime numbers. Now, Kimberly warns, don't tune out if you're not into math. There's some pretty interesting things that arise when you consider prime numbers. So let's talk about prime numbers. As of December 2020, what is the largest known prime number?
Teacher of calculus. Enlighten us.
Dan.
I would say that it's so large that there's nobody is going to remember the actual number.
I'm going to say full credit on that one. This number is so large. It has 24,862,048 digits.
Well, there can't be. I mean, is this the largest prime anyone has proven is prime? Because it's whole numbers are an infinite set, right? So
that's exactly right. So this is the largest one that's been proven to be prime. The number is 2 to the 82,589,933rd power.
Wow.
Somebody's got too much time on their hands.
That's a lot of multiplication signs.
There's got to be something else to it than that, because that wouldn't be prime. What'd you say? 2 to the 200 and
2 to the, I'm sorry. I completely forgot part of the equation.
Did you forget a -1?
I did. It is 2 to the 82,589,933rd power -1. Yes, that is correct. Yes.
If Jeff were here, he would know what that is. If I said Mersenne prime, I would probably be wrong, but I'll roll the dice that I'm right. And
how about we move on?
Our fact checker at the university will send me a congratulatory letter.
How about we move on to question 2, which is that number is definitely a Mersenne prime. What is a Mersenne prime?
The biggest prime number that exists.
Not the biggest prime that exists, the biggest one that's been proven to be prime.
No. A Mersenne primes are 2. They're prime numbers that fit the 2 to a power -1. There's something special about the power, and I just don't remember.
Yep, that's correct. That's correct.
This is what happens when you stop teaching calculus, man.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Now, let's contrast that to the extremely manageable number 8,191, a prime number. Why is that such a big deal? 8,191, at least when it comes to mathematical history.
That's how many cruises Jim Tubbs has been on.
That's low, I feel. I feel like that's low.
Within the last month.
Was that the highest prime number that was able to be proven using the first computer?
That's exactly correct. And for the record, it was calculated by an anonymous mathematician in 1456. That was the biggest prime number for a long time.
Oh,
wow. Oh, that's okay.
So it wasn't Dan.
No.
It wasn't even the mathematicians that I'm familiar with. That precedes them.
Maybe it was an ancestor of Dan's.
Possibly.
Oh, Chromaggio. Okay, gotcha.
Working backwards from 1 billion. What is the next prime number less than 1 billion?
Hello? My headphone just died. I don't hear anybody. What's going on?
Well,
I know that Dan can calculate it.
He's taking off his shoes right about now.
It's got to be 999 million something, right?
Beth is on the right track. It's 999,999,900 and what, Dan?
91.
Nope.
91.
Nope.
93.
It says 937 are the last digits.
Oh, 37. Okay.
All the other ones are divisible by something.
I got the 3. I'll take credit for that.
You can divide anything if you have enough.
You try hard enough.
Sharp enough knife, right, Stephen?
Knife, yeah.
We'll call this the Kendra question. How many prime numbers are there that are less than 100,000?
Oh, there's a percent estimator.
That's right.
That estimates an approximate number of primes under a certain number.
Oh boy.
I'm going to say 2%. A little more than 2%.
According to this, it's quite a bit larger than that.
Quite a bit larger.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
then
10%.
Then I am misremembering.
20%.
I'm giving it to Mara actually at 10%. There are 9,592 primes less than 100,000. That's a lot.
Slightly
That's
under
10%.
Yeah.
10%. Yeah, a little under 10%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll round up.
Sure.
As our students always want us to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So your F plus is now a
F plus.
Okay.
Okay.
The most common mistaken prime number less than 100 is what? The number you think would be prime, but it's not.
One.
That's actually a pretty good guess, but it's
Zero?
Not one in this case.
0?
Wait. Repeat the question.
So in 2016, a British mathematician named Christian Lawson Perfect, you can't make this stuff up, started asking people on the street whether a number was prime or not and turned it into a psychological experiment. Aside from 1, what is the number one number that is mistaken as prime, but people don't realize it is not prime between 0 and 100?
It's got to be an odd number.
So it's like 9 or something like that. 9.
No, it's got to be like 73 or something.
Some big number, yeah.
It says that number is 51. 51 is divisible by both 3 and 17. People don't recognize that. They just assume that it's prime.
Okay.
Psychological experiment. Now Dan can get into the next question. He's been anticipating me by like 2 or 3 questions. Can you define, Dan, why we do not consider 1 prime?
Oh, my headset went out again. Oh, geez.
It's tricky.
Well, because, I mean, I thought, Dan, correct me, a prime number is divisible only by 1 in itself.
And it is itself.
And 1 is itself. So this is like, why is it the empty set instead of an empty set?
That's a reasonable way to explain this, because 0 also fails. 0 is divisible by 1, but is not divisible by itself. Yes. So.
Oy.
So do I get it right?
I'm giving it to you.
That's all 100%, I care about, really.
100%. Can anybody explain why prime numbers are one of the most important facets of fighting cybercrime?
Unique keys for encryption.
Yeah. They are used for encryption systems, including the RSA, which is the gold standard. And since it takes a very long time to calculate primes beyond a certain number, you can get, it's like asking a robot, are you a parrot? Like its head explodes because it doesn't understand the question. And you can get encryption from prime numbers in that way.
So it's harder to hack, right?
Yes.
If you've got okay, that makes sense.
Hey, Dan, what is it called when we find primes that are so close to each other, like 3 and 5?
Oh, they're twin.
Yes, 11 and 13, 101 and 103. They're called twin primes. Twin primes.
Wait a minute, I thought that was a David Lynch movie. Oh, sure.
Sounds like it should be.
Again, here's where Jeff would be really, really useful here. I believe there's an unproved theorem that there's an infinite number of twin primes, and that's still unproven. These are fun little factoids that Jeff would really be.
Is it Goldbach's conjecture or Fermat's last theorem?
Fermat's last theorem is the x to the n plus y to the n equals z to the n. But I'm not sure what Goldbach's is. I'll Google it while you're talking.
That had to do with primes, but I could be wrong.
Goldbach's, yeah.
Why do Thai language online discussion groups type the number 5 a lot after a joke?
Did we answer the last question?
Yeah, they were twin primes.
Sorry, my bad.
So Thai language online discussion threads type the number 5, which of course is a prime, after jokes. Why do they do that?
Like a wry smile emoji or something like that?
No, it's a little more directly translatable, Dave.
I don't know. Emojis are pretty simplistic.
And I now know what Goldbach's conjecture is.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I just Googled it too.
In Thai, the word for 5 is ha. So it's like you are laughing.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Gotcha.
What is the term used for any number that is not prime?
Unprime.
Composite?
Composite is the word. Yes. Unprime sounds perfect to me. It's absolutely perfect.
But composite makes sense, right? If you're thinking about factors, divisibility, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably from its prime factorization. Yeah. Maybe.
This prime number is a prime among primes. 73,939,133. 73939 as far as anybody can tell, is the only prime that does something very special. What is it?
Add up to a particular number.
It's a good guess, but that's not it.
Have a lot of 3s.
It's written on the men's bathroom wall in Briggs.
You turn it upside down. Something.
It's perfect. Actually, when you turn it upside down, that's a good one too. But it's
like
more
Shell oil. It's like spelling Shell oil on your calculator. I remember my dad doing that when I was a kid. It was a big thing.
Or hello.
No, you know what it is? It's the largest known prime, where if you start on the right side and cover up the last digit, it reveals a prime number every time as the number gets smaller. And that's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Nice trick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Neato.
Here we go. Now Beth's calling the shots. How about the numbers 379009 and 773459993?
It's one of
those upside down deals.
Is one of those Shell oil upside down?
Yeah, that's right. The first one spells the word Google, and the other one spells the word eggshell. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I guess my dad was just not creative enough with the, calculator to.
Well, it depends. Did he have a Texas Instrument with the red LEDs? I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was not that. Yes.
Red LEDs. I love it. So the palindrome 323 is not prime, but it is the first number in the sequence between 0 and 323. That is what? Oh my gosh. I really need to get deeper into mathematics.
It was a Mazda model back in the 80s. I remember that.
323? Is
that? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Sounds like an area code.
Have to do
Sounds like it's the wrong Detroit area code, right?
323. Does it have to do with its binary represent? No.
I mean, you're on the right track, Dan. It says that while it's not prime, it's the sum of a prime and the reversal of that prime. And we're getting into a world now where I can't even begin to fathom like where we're going here. It's crazy.
Well, that actually is related to Goldbach's conjecture, right? Mm-hmm. Which is every even number greater than 2 the sum of 2 primes? His conjecture was yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's incredible. Amaze your friends, professors. What 20-digit prime number should be easily remembered by anyone?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or something like that.
Yes, that's basically it. Yeah, that is a prime number.
Not 20. That's not 20 digits. What did I miss?
You in between the 9s, you can put a 10 for the 10, and then go backwards back to 1, and it's a prime number. That's cool. That's right.
Hello, Jupiter. Happy kitty.
I'm sorry, I can't let these prime number questions go by without remembering one of my favorite geeky memes from a few years ago. It's a standard template where these 2 cartoon characters are talking, and the guy has a cartoon dog next to him, and he's like, "What's up with the dog?" He's like, "Oh, it's a guard dog." He's like, he kind of seems kind of cutesy. It's not really gonna, defend you physically. He goes, oh no, he can hurt you in other ways. And the one that I saw, the dog says, 1,000,001 is divisible by 11. Why do people make these kind of jokes? Oh my gosh.
Brain ligament listening to that.
Don't have senses of humor.
Dan, I'm sorry. I mean, everybody. And also Dan.
Rude.
Targeting Dan.
Thank you.
What simple pattern? What simple pattern exists for the square of a prime greater than 3?
A Fibonacci sequence.
You know this one, Dan? There's a pattern that exists for the square of any prime that's greater than 3.
Dear Lord.
Okay. So is it the number times itself? So 5 times 5 is... So is every prime greater than 3 when multiplied by itself? No, I have no idea.
You're Beth, you're so close that I almost fell out of my chair here. It says the square of any prime greater than 3 can be expressed as a multiple of 24 plus an increment of 1. How do you even do it? 5 squared is 25, which of course is 24 times 1
7
plus 1.
24 twice 24 plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
7 squared is 49, which is 24 times 2 plus 1. Who does this? Is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Who has this much time? Who's
doing
this?
People without cats.
Professional mathematicians would want them working on these things, I hope.
How could you apply numerology to the words prime and numbers within the context of that subject?
Oh, please.
5 and 7?
Yeah. Both of those have a number of letters that are prime numbers.
Okay, that was a visual thing. I could get that one. So,
and because of that, you should only purchase your lettuce on Wednesdays after 5 p.m. I mean, I don't know. I'm making fun of people here, but I mean, I don't get into the numerology.
5 has 4 letters.
No.
Prime has 5 digits. Five digits. 5 letters.
Sorry, my bad.
Numbers has 7.
And I love Kimberly Richards, and we love her questions. Keep on sending them in. The last question is, I decided to add question 19 for no other reason than 19 being
prime.
a prime.
Yeah. Steve Eiserman, too, right?
There you go. Good call. Good call on the Steve Eiserman. That was great. Whew, those were like my brain is mush at this point. Oh my gosh.
Like I said, I pulled a brain ligament. So
okay, I tell you what, profs, it's time for the Professor Imponderables, and I'm going to the list sent to us by Frank Burrows and his wonderful family. Just letting you know, Frank, whenever this episode airs, that we're not at the end yet, but we're probably 2/3 through. So any more Imponderables coming our way will be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
It says, what is your favorite comedy duo? I think there's something very specific about putting it that way, because there's tons of great comedy duos out there. Who's your favorite comedy duo?
Like Martin and Lewis.
Sure.
Tom and Jerry.
I'm just putting it out there that I may or may not have received a text from a colleague who asked me, when we're talking about the Clausius-Clapeyron equation, how do you pronounce Clapeyron, is what they texted me. So I immediately sent back a GIF, "You done messed up, AA Ron," from Key and Peele, and that will be my vote for right now.
AA
Greatest
Ron.
comedy duo.
I think I would go with the 2 ladies who were the 2 women who were the host of the Great British Baking Show for a few seasons. Mel and Sue, they were absolutely hysterical.
Yes.
First hosts.
And super kind always when people were having some kind of a meltdown, which I thought was really, but they were just hysterically funny.
It's good.
And they had been a I think a long-standing duo in Britain before they got that gig.
Well, I have to say, I have fond memories of Laverne and Shirley because
oh yes,
what, you're not Lenny and Squiggy?
Very good on there.
That's a good one, Jim.
I figure you'd be a Lenny and Squiggy man. So.
No,
I remember.
Right.
I remember singing that theme song all the time when I was a kid because it was so fun.
How about Abbott and Costello?
Of course.
It's a classic.
Yeah. Classic. Sure. What about Abbott and Costello? Meet Dracula.
Or the werewolf, or the mummy, or the IRS agent. Let's see. Ooh.
Speaking of generational, comedy, my youngest son's name is Emmett. And every time he comes into my in-laws' house, my father-in-law says, "Hey, Emmett," and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever, I'm here."
Doesn't get it. Cheers. Huh? Just doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it.
Do we need to find those old shows for him? The TV shows, the cartoons?
I bet he would enjoy it. I don't think my brother has subjected my kids at any point to the Three Stooges or anything yet, so they got a lot of catching up.
Wait a minute. Yes. Come on. Your kids have already graduated beyond Airplane and working their way up to Blazing Saddles, and they haven't been exposed to that.
That's
Talk about a movie that could not be made today. Hysterically funny, but nobody would allow it to be made.
That's right.
Absolutely.
What other comedy duos are out there, profs?
Ooh, okay, I've got one. NPR's Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, Car Talk.
Brothers.
They were good.
That's a good one.
Just down home. I think they were unscripted for the most part, right? If I remember right.
I would say so.
Yep. And it was just their natural sense of humor between the two brothers. It was always hilarious. It's like nobody ever really listened to them for car advice, did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I always loved the way they would stall. Like, what color is the car? They would just like try to work their way around it.
And of course, they said car because it was from Austin.
True.
The way they responded to some of their callers, though, and got into their love life and all of that. It was just fun to listen to.
It was.
We still haven't heard, I don't think, from Mara or Heather or Dan here.
I can't even think of any comedy duos besides Key and Peele, and like they're probably who Josh and I quote most frequently.
That counts.
That's beautiful. It makes me want to cry.
That's a good one, though.
How about the Blues Brothers?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's good. Absolutely.
For the Honeymooners.
Lucy and Ethel.
Oh,
Lucy and Ethel. Yeah.
Or Lucy and Ricky. Yeah. Not really a comedy duo, but no, that's true.
Still counts. Dan, this is it. We're at time here. What do you want to say?
Patsy and Adina from Ab Fab.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They were classic.
It's a perfect button for us to end on here, Dan, because we wish everybody, of course, an absolutely fabulous 2022. But I'm afraid the time has come to say goodbye. Dave.
See ya.
Heather.
Bye-bye.
Stephen.
Bye-bye.
Beth.
Bye-bye.
Mara.
Bye.
Jim.
Bye.
And Dan.
Bye-bye.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy. Ask the Professor is transcribed in, all of our homes, but usually it's in the Briggs Building in the Department of Communication Studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Education at University of Detroit Mercy's McNichols campus. Ask the Professor is produced and technically directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Mayo.